Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, where you been? I've been waiting all day. Make me wait. I'm kidding. How you been? If you're returning, how you doing? All right, listen. I got to give a shout out. I got to give a shout out to a community member who knows how to get me right in the heart with some salted caramel. No kidding. And hello, Autumn. How you doing, Joni? I love you. And the shirt fit great. And the kids, they already hit that jelly that you made. It was really good, by the way. Watermelon jalapeno jam. When I tell you, yeah, honey. My husband just looked at me like, excuse me. It's really good. Thank you, Joni. I love it, love it, love it. So what we're going to be talking about today is the one in Canada. Oh, Canada. Yeah, Trudeau. You know him. Yeah. So that prime minister, that guy, all right, he's got a bill, C-11. It's titled An Act to Amend the Broadcasting Act and to make related and consequential amendments to other acts. It is found to be an authoritarian law that will tell Canadians what they can or cannot watch on the internet. I kid you not. So don't be surprised, my lovely Canadian community members, if you can no longer watch me anymore. Yeah. I will be so sad to see you go. Just know that I appreciate you. So, this bill, C-11, regulates user content and hides those that it does not like on YouTube. How you doing? Or Rumble or other media platforms. Moreover, it forces streaming services to serve up content that the government likes while it shadow bans services that it doesn't like. So shadow banning, you know, like what I go through every single day. Yeah, because I get shadow banned every day. So anyway, this means that every service will now be like the Canadian Broadcasting Company. I don't know what the Canadian Broadcasting Company is. So if someone can enlighten me, please do. Salute. So, this guy's bill, this Trudeau, was presented as a way to protect content creators. You're not protecting us. You're smacking us in the face, you idiot. So, but it's pretty obvious that the Prime Minister is actually, he's censoring us even more. Okay? So, for all of the content creators that live in Canada, like Northern Girl Hobbies, Canadian Prepper, okay? I feel sorry for you, man. I really do. Because this guy, this Prime Minister, he's a jack. He really is. Now, Heritage Minister Pablo Rodriguez, he is the government's point person on this C-11. And he claimed that the legislation will help make sure that their culture sector works for Canadians and will support the next generation of artists and creators. No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm going to call you out right now. No, you're not. You just want everyone to zip it. You do. You would much rather have people just shut up and not say a word. You're one of those. You're one of those that believes that children should be seen and not heard. Just like you would rather have content creators be seen and not heard. All right. And that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Okay. Because you don't pay their bills. All right. You don't put food on their table. You don't put clothes on their backs. You do nothing. So you need to shut up. You need to sit down, and that's it. All right. You don't get to have. You don't get to have a say. Okay. You worry about you and your family, and that's it. That's all you're allowed to worry about. All right. So now there's this. I guess it's I want to say it's a magazine, maybe a newspaper. It's called Winnipeg Free Press. Okay. And in this free press thing, it said that Trudeau does not care about Canadian content creators. Well, of course not. Why? Probably because he gets called out. Right? He gets called out. But rightfully so, because the guy, he's a part of the World Economic Forum. So, of course, we're going to call him out. He's a jack. He doesn't know. He doesn't know right from wrong. He could care less. You know what I mean? He probably wears women's underwear, for crying out loud. Anyway. And this Winnipeg Free Press, it warned that the bill invades Canadians' privacy, which it does, and lessens their compatibility to hold the government accountable for influencing what they can see or say online. Exactly. You want to know why? Probably, now this is just a guess, okay? Probably because people are digging and they're finding things out. And he's probably afraid that they're going to dig too much and they're going to find out too much. But you know what? It's the glory of having the internet. You know what I mean? Listen, hey, Trudeau, here's a message for you. If you maybe you shouldn't have taken a position of leadership or power if you don't want, okay, sit down, go, I'm going to talk to you like you're my son. Go sit down in the corner, put your dunce cap on, and don't move and don't speak until spoken to. Okay? You are grounded. And stop wearing your grandmother's underwear. All right? Stop putting her high heels on and take off those pearls. They don't belong to you. All right? So, now the more rational behind the bill, rationale, really, okay, had already been thoroughly debunked. But this C-11, okay, it forces domestic viewers' content from YouTube, TikTok, which they may have no interest in, lower click rates. This could prompt these platforms to deprioritize Canadian content beyond Canada, okay? Now, foreigners enjoy more than 80% of Canadian content on platforms like YouTube, but while content may be far better in Canada, it might fall around the world. And the Toronto Sun, this is another newspaper, or maybe it's a blog, I'm not sure, noted that Canadians from all walks of life are calling on the Senate to junk the bill. And Canadian content creators are also urging senators to reject the bill in its current form, if you will, as they see it as a very dangerous piece of legislation. And it is. It's another way of taking away our rights, or Canadians' rights, really. Now, there's another not platform, like newspaper, I guess you could say, maybe it's an online newspaper, Digital First Canada, which represents tens of thousands of small-time Canadian content creators. And they sent a letter to every senator warning that this Bill C-11 can kill the careers of every artist that Trudeau government claims it wants to help. Trudeau, he's helping no one but himself. We all know this, okay? But they said that right now our livelihoods are at risks, and they noted that the government rammed this Bill C-11 through the House of Commons without any room for debate or amendments. But that's generally, they do that here, you know. They slip it in with something else. So, you know, hoping that nobody will see it and it'll just get signed on, you know. And they also said that earlier this year, over 40,000 creators and users raised our voices in the House and through letters to defend our digital businesses against these changes. And they were ignored. Well, that's not a surprise that they were ignored. Now, there are major companies like Google and YouTube who were also against Bill C-11, warning that Canadian consumers will be force-fed with government-approved content. So, Google, which partners with another company called Open Media, they noted that Canadian favorite content could be systematically downranked in favor of content that the CRTC, or the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commissions, deemed Canadian enough. And YouTube, they issued a similar statement saying that if Bill C-11 is put into practice, viewers will be served content that a Canadian government regulator has prioritized rather than something that they may be interested in. And that's gross. That's sickening, you know. And right on for YouTube to stand up for content creators and for the consumer, for the viewer, you know, to say, hey, listen, you know, this isn't right that it's being pushed onto also YouTube. And, you know, that they would have to, you know, put something in front of a viewer, and they're like, well, I don't want this. Well, I don't want this. Well, I don't want this. And then YouTube is like, their hands are tied saying, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. You can't, you know, and it stinks. And there's other groups that are claiming to represent creators, like the Canadian Independent Music Association. They have come out in favor of the legislation, but they need to think through these implications of this new bill. And if the government bureaucrats get to choose what content they can show to Canadians, there is also a genuine risk that the government will use its filtering powers to silence these critics. So they really need to be careful, okay? And I'm honestly happy that YouTube finally stood up and said, sorry, we don't agree with this, you know, because in all actuality, I wouldn't doubt it if YouTube, if they put restrictions and downplayed anything that Trudeau tried to put out just as a smack in the face to him, you know, so I wouldn't doubt it. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I appreciate you. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fear less. Ciao.